All right, friends, here we go again. We're going to open a few more packs of this box. We're getting close to the end here, so let's see what we're getting, see if we're getting anything hot, anything good. First half of the video, we're just going to be cracking, see what we got. Second half of the video, we're going to go ahead and break down some of the cards, analyze them, see if there's anything good that I can use. So, without further ado, let's start tearing some of these open. And our art card is... Ooh, another gold signed art card. I got one of those recently. Nondescript Swamp. Enthrall to the Pit. It's a sorcery for 4 with a kicker of 3. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, sacrifice that creature at the beginning of the next end step. Bone Splitter. It's a sorcery for 1. As an additional cost to cast this creature, sacrifice the creature. Destroy target creature. Okay. Shadow Prophecy. It's an instant for 3 with Domain. Look at the top X cards of the library, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Put up to 2 of them in your hand, and the rest of them into your graveyard. You lose 2 life. Gibbering Barricades. A Nightmare Wall for 3 to 4/2 with Defender. It pay 3, sacrifice creature. You gain 1 life and draw a card. Interesting. Braid Argavian Recruiter. It's a 2/2 human soldier for 2 at the beginning of your end step. If you control a creature with power greater than its base power, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Resolute Reinforcements. A 1/1 human soldier for 2 with flash. When Resolute Reinforcements enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. The Weatherseed Treaty. It's a Enchantment Saga for 3 with read ahead. Search your library for a basic land card and put it into the battlefield tap and shuffle. Number 2, create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. Number 3, Domain. Target creature you control gets +X/+X and gains trample until end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Rulik Mon's Warren Chief. It's a 3/3 legendary goblin for 4 with menace. When Rulik attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you didn't put the card onto the battlefield this way, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. Aram Benalia's Ruins, a 3/3 human Phyrexian, or Phyrexian human. For 3 with menace, you can pay 2 and tap it, sack another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Shadow Rite Priest, a 2/2 human cleric. For 2 other clerics you control, get +1/+1. You can pay 5 and tap it and sack another cleric. Search your library for a black creature card, put it into the battlefield, then shuffle. Yikes. Samite Herbalist, a 2/1 cleric for 2. Samite Herbalist becomes tapped. Whenever it becomes tapped, you gain 1 life and scry 1. And that is it for that pack. Moving on to pack number 2. And our art card is, another gold signed card. Sweet. And Nondescript Mountain. Alright, here we go. Heroic Charge. It's an instant for 4 with a kicker of 2. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, those creatures also gain trample until end of turn. I feel like that should be more defensive. Forest Plains. Helpful. Breakweaver, actually, we'll probably get that up there. Breakweaver Crusher, a 2/5 enlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. That's not terrible, I suppose. Gaia's Might. It's an instant for 1 with Domain. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each basic land type among lands you control. Wrath Weatherlight Stalwart. Oh, poor guy on that Weatherlight. He's a 1/3 legendary human wizard for 2. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. You can pay 5, and creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. That's a lot for 1/1 vigilance. Relic of Legends. Sweet. Add 1 mana of any color to artifact for 3. Tap an untapped legendary creature you control. and add 1 mana of any color, so it makes all your legends mana dorks. Founding the Third Path. It's an enchantment saga for 2 with read ahead. 1, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 1 or 2 from your hand without paying its mana cost. 2, target player mills 4 cards. 3, exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Copy it. You may cast the copy. It's not too shabby. Tatiova, Steward of Tides, the 3/3 legendary merfolk druid for 3. Land creatures you control have flying lands. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with haste. It's still a land. Chura Kenyurud Stanid, or whatever. It's a 3/3 legendary human knight for 5 with flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Okay. Oh, let's go. Painland. And Nishoba Brawler. It's a star 3 cat warrior for 2 with trample and domain. Its power is equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control. And list card. Underdark Rift. It's a land. You can tap it to add colorless, so you can pay 5 and tap it. Exile it. Roll a d10. Put target artifact, creature, or planeswalker into its owner's library, just beneath the top X cards of that library, where X is the result of the d10 roll. Activate own sorcery. Wow, that's complicated. All right, let's rinse out with our final pack here. Okay. And our art card is not signed. Shame. Alright, nondescript swamp, dual land, and let's see, Urborg Repossession. It's a sorcery for 1 with kicker of 2. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain 2 life. If this spell was kicked, return another target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Interesting. Okay. Tribute to Urborg. We're all in the Urborg kick here. It's an instant for 2 with a kicker of 2. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, that creature gets an additional -1/-1 until end of turn. And 4 each instant or sorcery in your graveyard. Wow, I really got stuck reading that one there. Alright, Crystal Grotto, it's a land. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1. You can tap it to add colorless. You can pay 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Twinferno, it's an instant for 2. Choose 1. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Target creature you control gains double strike until the turn. Double strike is so sweet. Heirloom Battle Hymn. It's an instant for 3 with a kicker of 1. Heirloom Battle Hymn deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If this spell is kicked, you gain 4 life. Najal the Stormrunner. It's a 5/4 legendary Efreet Wizard. For 5 mana, you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. That's cool. Whenever a Najal Stormrunner attacks, you may pay 2. If you do, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Okay. Territorial Maro. Hey, Maro's back. Star Elemental for 5 with Domain. His power and toughness are equal to twice the number of basic land types among lands you control. It could be a 10/10, I suppose. Najal Stormrunner. I feel like we just covered that. Yep, we did. They look so different, don't they? I guess not. Okay. Urza Assembles the Titans. It's an enchantment saga for 5 with read ahead. First, scry 4, then you may reveal the top 4 cards of your library. If a planeswalker card is revealed this way, put it into your hand. 2, you may put a planeswalker card with mana value 6 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. 3, you may activate the loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice this turn, rather than only once. That's pretty sweet. Okay, Alice Evil Core, Sadistic Pilgrim, is a 2/2 legendary Phyrexian Core Cleric for 2. He's also shiny. He's got Death Touch. And whenever another creature ETBs under your control, you gain 1 life. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. And Goblin token. Can never have too many Goblin tokens. Alright, folks, we're going to pause it here. We're going to take a look at some of these cards and see what fits where in my collection of decks, or in something I might build, or something that's just cool. See you in just a bit. Alright, friends, welcome back. Now we're going to look at some cards that I think might slot into some decks, or might be builds of their own. Who knows? So we're going to start with this card right here, Bone Splitters. It's a sorcery for 1 as additional cost to cast the spell. Sacrifice a creature. That's pretty cheap removal. Even though you are sacrificing one of your own creatures, in black there's tons of token creatures out there that are not going to be that much of a loss to you. So Bone Splitters, even at sorcery speed, I think is really, really affordable removal. Okay, moving on. We have the Weatherseed Treaty. It's a enchantment saga for 2. The first one is search your library for a basic land, put it into the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So in like a Lands Matter deck, or any deck with green, that's just ramp. It's just straight up ramp. Nothing wrong with that. It's got all the extra stuff attached. Create a sapling token. It's a 1/1, but who cares? It's free along with your ramp. Target creature you control gets +X and gains trample until your turn, where X is the number of basic lands among lands you control. You're probably going to have at least 1, maybe at least 2. If this is later in the game, this makes it that much bigger. So, yeah, that's not bad ramp at all. Founding the Third Path. Free spells are good. It costs 2 to come in. You can cast an instant sorcery from your hand. So if you have a sorcery for 2, you paid 2 to bring this in. You can play that spell for free, basically. And then after that, you start milling, and then you get cards back from your graveyard. So this is a pretty solid Spellslinger deck, maybe. But here we go. Twin Inferno. It's an instant for 2. This is definitely for a Spellslinger deck. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So you're just making more with what you've already paid for. Less likely in a Spellslinger deck to use the second ability, target creature you control gains double strike, but if you're not in Spellslinger, double strike is just awesome. Okay, Tatiova, Steward of the Tides. 3/3 legendary Merfolk Druid for 3. Land creatures you control have flying. I do intend on building a Lands Matter deck in the near future. This is probably not going to be my commander, but it's likely that she's going to be in it. Okay. Bard, Argavian Recruiter, whatever. 2/2 Human Soldier for 2. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power greater than its base power, create a 1/1 White Soldier creature token. This is probably going to slot into any Boros equipment deck, because once you have equipment, they're all going to be higher than their base power, at least one of them will, and you're just going to get free 1/1s. Why not? Relic of Legends. It's a 3-drop mana rock, and a lot of people don't like them, but in a 5-color deck, in a Legends Matter deck, you end up getting a whole lot more mana out of it. So I've got a Sisay build that I'm probably going to be putting that right into. All right. Urborg Repossession. It's a black and green card with a kicker of 2. Return creature card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain 2 life. If it was kicked, you return a second permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So, last night I was playing in a pod with friends of my Dina deck, which happens to be black and green, and they were actively trying to remove one of my cards. I had something on the battlefield that brought a card back, so they had to get rid of that first before they got rid of my big threat, and they did. Something like this would have been really handy to bring both of them back, and it's sitting in my hand. They don't know it's there. Okay. And finally, Urza Assembles the Titans. Atraxa. I've got an Atraxa Super Friends build that I'm getting going. This is going to be pretty sweet to get all those Planeswalkers out there and get them using their abilities, twice. All right, friends, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, all the usual stuff. And that's probably going to be it for today. Peace.